I had a name for 66 years and I'm going to be 81 next month. And I'm still battling with my cancer. And I'm doing this because I'm going to straighten everything out, like I said, for the future generation. I wish that OW, one of them, should be here, because I think that they should leave the door open, like when they were fighting for, our ancestors were fighting court case. They all got together, they sat around the table, they planned, they had a lawyer with them, they planned the way they wanted it. And then they called the members in, they debriefed them, telling them what's going to happen. And now everybody's planning in there, they don't even call us. We're just left out of everything. But we're still doing good. We're still doing okay. We lost our brother, only brother. He usually gets moose for us. Now we have nothing. And we usually get everything ready for potlatch. He even picked my huckleberries because of that roadblock. That wasn't right. You could have done that to everybody, but not the clan members. Not the clan members. Because it deprived me of picking berries. And it's really bad. I just wanted to bring this to your attention. And everything I said is the truth. Because we work with the elders. And we were taught by our parents how to behave. I hope that we can all move forward without hard feelings. Because I don't like hard feelings. That's all I wanted to tell you. That's all I wanted to say. This is what it's all about today.
Mom declined to put this on media in the newspapers. She didn't want to put it on newspapers because you're right. Our Wet'suwet'en business, everybody hears Wet'suwet'en right now. Our Wet'suwet'en business doesn't belong on social media, especially when there's so much division and it makes other Wet'suwet'en feel really badly. I'm not even for or against the pipeline, and there's so much division among the Wet'suwet'en, it's really hard to witness. It's really hard to watch. I mean, if it was like Enbridge, I would have been right there with you. But this isn't a hill that I'm willing to die on, and I'm not interested in fighting. But when we heard the video of somebody screaming that somebody's going to get killed, we don't want to see a war on Wet'suwet'en territory. My dad fought for the freedom of the country and fought for the freedom of the Wet'suwet'en. And he always said, if you really knew what war was like, you wouldn't want war to happen. We don't want war in Wet'suwet'en territory. But is it a hill you're willing to die on?
Absolutely, because if we don't have any territory left, then what do we do for our kids?
And what about all the families who are depending on the livelihood? Like we haven't seen moose in about 10 years. My salmon that I'm feeding Mom with, we went fishing in Prince Rupert the last 3 years because we don't get salmon anymore. So how are people gonna live? You said the other day, you said on the video the other day that you're hunting for moose for your family. What about all the other Wet'suwet'en?
Exactly.
What about all the other Wet'suwet'en who are depending on the territories for their livelihood? You probably made more money on GoFundMe than a lot of people made on the pipeline.
That money all goes towards
Gadumdan.
land.
In the name of the Gadumdan.
It goes towards running the camp at the direction of our chief, and it's
What about the other dum dum?
Mabel wants to speak.
In Vietnam, being around the snake and meat, utselijk, die what's what I did. Pepe, Alcazar. So was a reserve at Wednesday. To her middle of the house, then at Wednesday, Johnson Lake. It's preemption outside. It's farm outside. I know you guys in there. It's an easy way. Snake built and copy her and skak habkai, anza habkai. Say, okay, deep. As a sakrak, so salkani will. It's a late and on it here. So you say yes. Mom Becky, Madeleine Jimmy, who's Unitan. Or what's needed means that's an easy way. The can that's an easy way. So Kaya was in it. So I need here. سلحني وأنا بني سقاط جون مول سقاط حبش تابت اللي تقول فيديوتي تقول كاسيا كاسيا حبت more so his ancestor who's Dinka, the ladies Nipiti Arctic John Dennis and his cousin and Norley Matheson, who's at Wickham. And the Nipits University. The Nipits say Sanaskia and Davis, Sassas in last. So, a post hoc Nipits, yeah, the people clack the week to be. I'd be still over me. Neben der Edorfa. Israel mistus osa vincentella band et nie video arkia visible people the project such an split Rita in there's 3 years kan back in the end Nimbilka. Het schakelt niet juist. En de keer is de keer. Het lag hoffentlich tiefen zu. Het kan niet حتى الدنيز كقاء سبيكي تسيوني بزقي رشلك مترفعيش قيدي وإسني اللي دني بيتوان تابي دنين اللي يميني I says already Western. It's medicine first there. So nak here that like it's all tall it's a that spill where they get to sit meeting to university. And I thought architecturally that I was the meeting on it one and easy to the East Hackney, in the theatre, and easy you any pictures from yes and mine we got it pictures from a very fond I have to read after only the table this capsule cabin of the old it really sit at the green. Mine is so new on it's a shipwreck. Why is the attitude? Of the ones in the we're not later after. So not Canada, where Canada who's on 4 years time on the state. Dat has it at saying and in snake Yiddish. Marley Matthew sang at Amelia Easy. It's at the Archbishop of anyway, but lots and say. This is I of the lady. That's really easy. Sometimes I have to do when you these times. In that really was the Anna's beer. Sorry, what's all the clear? I've been sick. The ones that don't understand our language, I will repeat myself in English. I was born and raised at Wickham, my father's territory. My father's name was Rita George, hereditary seafood backwards. Part of his territory was around Lake, where the hall sits. That's where he had two log houses, great big houses, yeah, big family. They had animals and they cleared land. And this Nido that came into the area, he wanted that area. And he kicked my dad off his land, off his territory, and they didn't even give him a chance to move out. He was out one day, came home, the house is stable where they keep their animals. Everything was burnt down to the ground. This Negro's name was Gabriel LaCroix. Whoever he belongs to, I never did know. But I read that history book all the time. All that story is in that book. And I don't really know what to think anymore because of what's happening. The disease that's going around killing everybody, killing a lot of people in the States, thousands of people are dying. We are lucky that it's not spreading around our area. That's why I'd like to see people work together and help one another. Myself, I've been sick for the last 4 years and I'm not getting any better. So I stick close to home. I don't go anywhere. So I'm depending on Molly, Jenny, June. We adopted them into our house, Cassia. And the name that I gave Molly is a big name. That's why we sat her in the back row with us. We were planning another feast. There's more names that in our family that are not being used. I like to see Jen, June, take a name.
Okay.
That way we can. Like our house is getting smaller and smaller. Even now, last while, my cousins are all dying in the city. And they make out a will saying that they don't want to be brought home. They want to be cremated. And that's what's been happening in my family. And recently we had lost two cousins. My second cousins, 2 of them passed away and we had to cremate them. Can't hold it. It's happening over and over again in most times. It's getting, I can't even begin to think of what we're going to do. Not only our town, but all towns in Morristown, just people dying all the time. I'd like to see us help one another and work together. It's cold.
Sit back in the truck.
On laittanut niin se on kyllä oppitouppia on sen kakuisen. No, se on jäntänä mainis. Stopplasset. Aina on sen highway on nyt sakkoissa. No, Viking road on sen. This is like this, the ammataiset tiedästä sen juuttan. We used to camp along the road. It's this Wickham road. There was no highway. Along the Morse River, we're camping around with horses. We traveled right here. We picked fish. We used to have makeshift smokehouse there. We used to, Grandma and Auntie Mary used to take net across the river. We used to do our fish here. How far we travel all the way from Mucha Lake. We were just kids. That's our wagon road they make highway on. You could see some of the short corners. You could see our wagon trail. It's visible. We lived off the land all our life. My grandpa and my uncles, they were great trappers, great hunters. My family come from a line of hereditary chiefs. Amelia Sam had my name before Ludux. She raised up for a wash. No yenta, it's on the way. Uncle Roy looked after our whole territory. All of our territory. He was a smart man and he held up the potlatch really well. The nipi tsutikli. Why you teach less was Willows in the woods and everything is gone downhill. It's not the same anymore. Since Uncle Roy passed away, the name is gone on the downhill spiral. It's our family. Tapi when I'm clean the day and say, well, it's all picture well. Have to listen to the matriarchs and our family and names. Can only take names in your own family bloodline. If you're not in that bloodline, you don't belong. And we lost a lot of names to people like Robert who never even asked us. There's lots of names in Morristown that belong to us. It's in our bloodline. All our family died. All I got is my mom and one auntie. All my uncles passed away. My auntie Mary, my grandparents. We got more houses on the graveyard than houses to live in. We're not poor, but we are poor for housing. We have no place to live. But we were taught and groomed for many years before we got a hereditary name. I've had a hereditary name since 1973. I'm still learning. Yeah, no kanak. Bagajits only. No trahwadistas any no paya when our own family older than us guide us through everything that we do. Maybe that's why I'm still okay. I was young when I got name. I didn't want name, but my grandma, auntie, my grandma, her brothers, sisters, they were all still alive. They all picked me to take the name. That's why I took the name. And we're all the same family. Rita's dad, Chief Paddy Isaac, my great-great-grandma Margaret Isaac, their brother and sisters, the same bloodline. We have the same grandparents who come from the same family. And we have to be very careful with our hereditary names. Every little thing we do wrong, we've got to pay in potlatch. It costs a lot of money. There's things that we get offended by as we're told in people that they use. The rattle too is really sacred to us. That's our national anthem in the potlatch hall. It's only used very important time it belongs in a peace hall. When I see people stampeding around in our traditional territory with the rattle, it's very embarrassing to us. Give them a tin can or something, they want to make noise, but don't use a rattle. It's not made for that. It's made for in the potlatch hall only. And only the matriarchs and the head chiefs have a rattle. They're the only people that own rattles. That's why not every chief in the country owns a rattle. And it's used for a purpose. And that is not our way, that is not our culture. We don't want our kids, as they're growing up, stampeding around the country with a rattle. There's other things to make noise with. That used to only belong to really big chiefs. And only they use the rattle, not just anybody. But things are changing a lot in the potlatch hall. It's not our way. There needs to be a lot of grooming from the elders before they all pass on. It takes years of grooming to get a hereditary name. You have to have respect for your matriarch and your hereditary chiefs. They're important people to us who are learning, they're teaching us. We can't step out of line as a hereditary chief. It costs money. You have to pay for that in your potlatch hall. Families will always be family. It's really important. We follow our own family bloodline. Then we know where we come from. We have lots of vacant names too, but we've got nobody in the family to take it. Nobody wants a name. We got vacant names too, but we've got nobody to give it to. And then it takes years for them to learn before we could even give them a name. Some chiefs, they haven't been groomed. Those are the ones that do make bad decisions. Can't listen to all the chiefs. Sometimes we have to step back and not say nothing because they're doing wrong. I see that lots, but I stay away from that. I hold my name with the utmost respect all my life, and I will continue to do that. I'm grooming my youngest daughter for Ludux. As time goes on, I'll probably be a double banger when this damn virus is gone. You'll all know about it. And I've earned it. To get a big name, you have to start with a small name. You work your way up. And I think I've earned it. And the time is coming. And the pressure's on too. I hear that from lots of people. What do you do? Smoke peace? No, no. You can't do anything now because of the virus. But it's good for everybody to forgive and get on with life. Life is too short. And Aboriginal people, the territory, we've been in that territory all our life. We're born in that Woods Lake, Huckleberry area. My grandma, Julia Ann, Stephen Morse, they were the Francis Lake tribe. That's their territory we're talking about, into the Huckleberry mine. It's DIE, they put us in other bands. Now we're just sitting on little reserve. No housing. You Department of Indian Affairs damaged a lot of people. Like Rita said, because her husband went to war, she lost her status. My mom, Angeline Crocker, same thing happened to her. She lost her status too. She had no status because she married a Mexican. My siblings had no status all these years. Me, I'm lucky I was the oldest. I was born in the territory and I was born in skin. And so I never lost my status. And in our tradition back in the day, the grandparents, they used to take the oldest child. My grandma delivered me and kept me. She kept all the oldest grandchildren of all her kids. That's how we raised up. We used to be like sardines who sleep on the floor, all the grandkids. That's how we raised up in the chopping cabins. My grandpa, my uncles, they used to build log houses everywhere we lived. They're all gone. White people burnt them all down. We don't even have one cabin in the territory. My mom and my auntie Mabel were talking a couple of weeks ago. We counted them all. There was 14. They're all burnt down. All the camping cabins. It's the white people that are hurting us, not our own people. And everybody has to get along. And everybody really has to be very careful with name taking. Because there's a lot of names that are being taken by wrong people. And it's not stopping, it's getting worse. We kind of live in the bush and they hide it when they're going to grab names. These names that we lost, they took without our knowledge. But we've got some younger people that were thinking about to get a name in the future. We've got them in mind. It's good to keep up the tradition, teach young people. We need them, we need help in the whatnot, because our culture is being lost. We don't have enough help. It's just like us, we use family, just few of us. But it's hard. But I'm really happy to be here to support you, Rita. I'm glad you spoke to the family, your nieces, and I hope you guys give it serious consideration. We're not going to live here forever. When we go, we're not going to pack no land with us. We'll come into this world bare naked and we're going to leave bare naked. Nothing is coming with us. There's no sense in fighting over land. It's not worth it. Enjoy the short life that we do have. I thought I was young. Birthdays keep coming, they won't stop coming. Now I'm 66 already. I thought I was still young. So time flies. And you know, we all have to realize, you know, we've been ripped off all our lives. I've been ripped off all my life. I turned 21. I was so happy. Oh, I could go into the bar. They turned the drinking age back to 19. I was ripped off then too. Yeah, I had to wait till I was 21 and they changed the drinking age to 19. But it's a good thing, you know. I think I would have been too crazy when I was 19. But the chiefs too, the hereditary chiefs of the Wet'suwet'en, I don't see much of them, and they don't see us, and we don't know what goes on. We mind our own business and look after our own backyard. We do our own cultural activities. We're very cultural motivated. We're very busy all summer. But it's been a while since we've been up into the Huckleberry area. We used to be up there all the time. Shirley and our kids spend a lot of time in the area. Shirley lives where Ludup's reserve is. Raised up her kids there. That's their backyard. When I was really small, we used to pick lots of huckleberries up in the area. We were just kids. We used to work hard. Nowadays, kids, they don't do nothing. They're lazy. They're just on computer. They don't want berries. They don't want to do nothing. They don't even want to go in the bush. You're lucky you get a few kids that will help you. Me, I'm lucky I taught my kids that they could do everything I do. But everybody needs to get along and keep learning from one another. We learn something new every day. I think it's getting too cold, maybe.
Yep.
I call it the split. I'll joke that.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Hi, June. That's okay. Okay, it's too cold.